Hello, hello. Oh my god, I've been trying to do this intro like 3 times already and I'm kind of freaking out. Talking about my rock bottom, it's not a simple task. Reliving those moments and thinking about it to be able to express it, it's been a bloody roller coaster of emotions. I feel super proud, and then I'm like ashamed, and then I'm like happy, and then I'm like, what the fuck was I doing? But now I can understand that everything that I lived through had a purpose and I had, a meaning. Everything that happened led me to where I am right now, and I wouldn't change that for anything in the world. I feel like the most conscious, happy, fulfilled person like in the world, like at least in my versions and everything that I've been. This is like the proudest I've been of who I am. And but trying to remember those moments is so freaking hard, because I'm telling sometimes this story like if it was somebody else who lived it, and that's what I used to do always. And I'm going to be telling you a few stories of why that kind of, like how your brain kind of works and protects you and all this bullshit, to go through everything that I've lived through and to be able to come up to where I am right now. So anyways, I want to kind of make a little bracket here, and I want to say that, I'm going to be touching delicate subjects about drug abuse, alcohol abuse, even sexual abuse. I want to say that I love my mom, and I know she did the best she could with the tools she had. We're so quick to judge and to blame other people, and I do not blame her at all for the ways that she reacted. I think that when we go through abuse and when we go through so much shit in our lives, it's not even the going through them that's the hardest. Is the telling other people about it and them not believing you, or them judging you, or putting the blame on you for certain fucking reasons. So I want to just say that, like, I'm really proud, and one of the things that makes me the proudest about myself is that I did this with my own little 2 ovaries. I grabbed everything that life had given me. I went for the tools. I got all the help that I could get in a lot of different ways, and I grabbed all that. I made it a little ball, and then I made it into a manual to be able to understand my brain and understand my body mostly, and how it was reacting and everything. But right now we're going to be talking about one of my hardest moments in my life, where I had no self-love, no self-worth. My life could have turned out so different if I didn't make the decisions that I made in this bracket of time. I probably would be in the street or in jail or dead, probably, if I would have kept myself in that same road that I took for a little while. So anyways, we're going to be talking about me arriving in Colombia, but I want to make, again, an emphasis of before I left to Colombia, when I was in Barcelona and I was traveling for those last months where I knew I wasn't going to come back. I went through really self-destruction, abusing drugs, abusing alcohol, having sex with anyone that could make me feel loved, or make me feel that, a little bit of attention in a way. It wasn't that I was sleeping around with thousands of men, because it wasn't like that, but it was still a way of me sleeping around. And now I see other girls and I'm like, okay, well, I didn't do anything. But in that moment, and for me, that was a lot. It was a lot, because it was self-degrading. Like, I felt like shit. I felt dirty. And I even see photos of in that time, and I was just disgusting. But anyways, so those last months were terrible. I got to a point where I was really sick, and then when I arrived in Colombia, I kind of went way overboard with everything that I was doing in Barcelona. And the reason why I did that was because I started confronting my past. So it sent me into a down spiral. Sometimes we think that when we're going for a healing process, it's just going to be all butterflies and beautiful and flowers, and no. And no, for me, it just sent me down to a spiral. So I'm going to be talking about that. I hope this can bring a lot of awareness, a lot of, understanding about our own healing process, and understanding that there's nothing good and there's nothing bad. There's only experiences, and what you do with those experiences can transform your life to one way or another. It depends of what way you want to see it, because you can always see it in two different ways. So now, okay, here we go. Okay, so I arrived in Colombia, and I arrived being really sick, right? So, straight away when I arrived, and my mom kind of saw me, she tried to take me to different therapists, different people that could help me, that could guide me through what the fuck was going on. I even got taken to a priest to do an exorcism. I remember that priest was like whipping me with like a little towel and stuff, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, it was just so weird, and people like praying on me in my head, and it was just so freaking random. I want to give a little bit of a warning that this episode is going to be touching a lot of weird stuff, like supernatural stuff, and like weird kind of shit that happened. Obviously I understand it now, but I'm going to explain it to you in the way that I was living in that moment, and what they were telling me, and what I did believe, because later on we're going to get to how I transformed all that information into my benefit, and understanding as well what I was going through in that moment, instead of blaming everyone outside for what I was living, because I didn't want to take responsibility. I wanted to blame everyone. I was a victim. Like, what do you mean I'm doing bad? Like, I got this shit given. Like, when is my life going to get better? In the moment that I arrived in Colombia, I was 32. So I kept saying, it's 32 years of fucking shit. Like, when is the good stuff coming? Like, I'm so over this. I would wake up, and the first thing I would feel was heaviness. But not only in my body, in my heart, in my soul. I would open my eyes, and I was like, why did I wake up? Like, why can I just die? Like, I don't understand it. And I really don't understand, because the things that I was doing, I don't know how I survived. So anyways, let's get into it. Oh my God, I'm sweating. I'm fucking nervous. But anyways, let's get this shit on the road. So, I arrived in Colombia, and I was so bad that my body was itchy for about 4 months. Bear in mind that because of the autoimmune disease that I got diagnosed with, anything that happened to me, they always blamed it on that, because they didn't know what the fuck it was. So I had a rush for about, I think it was 3 to 4 months. It was a long time, a very long time. Like, I would be itchy, and I couldn't scratch myself, because if I even did that, I would get like little balls, semas? Anyways, I would get little balls of like allergy reactions. So it was really bad. So they took me to this psychiatrist, and he was like, this is psychological. Like, they did like a hormone test and whatever, and they were like, look, your cortisol levels are like in 30, your serotonin levels are like low. So you're in a really big depression. Like, you need to take medication for depression. And bear in mind, I was already taking medication for anxiety for about 8 years already of my life, because that would activate the cells and give me all these allergic reactions, supposedly. So I start taking this antidepressant medication. I remember I told my mom the first time about the abuse with this family member, not with the dog situation, because that I never told anyone. Before I said it in this episode, I had spoken about it like 2 weeks before it, because I was so ashamed. I felt so disgusted, and just, it was just something that if I even thought about, I would go into like mode. Like, it was just oh my God, I'm sweating. So, I told my mom the first time about this abuse when I was 21. I said, Mom, like, I remember this. Like, I don't, like, like this happened and whatever. And she was like, please don't tell your stepdad, because they're very good friends. And I was like, wait, what? So I became very angry towards her, because we think that the abuse is the worst thing that could happen, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's telling the people that you love and them not reacting the way that you thought they were going to react. That hurt me way more than anything. So, I was starting to get angry towards her and towards my stepdad, because I felt they didn't believe me. They thought I was crazy, and that, that I was just inventing it practically. I was just like, Rosa's lying. So, I just had arrived. I was 15 days, I think, in Colombia, and I went for dinner with a few friends, and there was this guy, and he was like, look, I'm an actor professor. Like, I teach acting. Like, have you ever tried acting before? And I said, no, I like business and I like sales and all this stuff. Like, I've never really even thought about anything like that. And he was like, well, with your background, the circus, I have a famous cousin that's a singer. And why don't you just give it a go? And he gave me this acting academy in Cali. And he just goes, just go and have a look and see what it is. And I went, okay, let's go. So I arrived in that academy, and I remember they gave me this fucking foil of paper, and I looked at it and I went like, what is this? They're like, okay, so just memorize it. We'll see you in 10 minutes. I was like, wait, what? Memorize what? I'm not going to memorize all this shit. Like, it was a long script. I was like, in 10 minutes, like, no freaking way. And for some reason, it worked out. They called me 10 minutes later, and I did like a casting kind of thing, which I didn't know I was there for that. But anyways, it did happen, and I went to it, and they put like this TV, and they let you see yourself, and I saw myself acting, and I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, oh my God, I freaking loved it. I understand now that I loved it as much because I was used to acting my whole life. I was used to putting masks and putting shit and be, in that whole persona. I was like, okay, no, this is fucking perfect for me. So I started in acting, but in that moment, I was already doing drugs every day. I was consuming cocaine. I was smoking weed. I was drinking a shit. So, I was doing well because it really went well. Like, I was there for about 4 months before, because I arrived September 2019, and then we got locked up in COVID. I think it was March 2020. So I was there for like one term, and then I was starting the next term. And in that term, I actually did really good. I was in a few productions, like, I locked up abroad for National Geographic. I was in, El Cartel de los Sapos as well, in another role, so a really big role in Netflix. And, it was a small role for a big production. And in those moments, two things happened that slapped me in the face, and I was like, wait, what the fuck am I doing with my life? So the first one was, I was sitting down because I was doing so much drugs, and obviously my stepdad is a very smart man. He's really smart, like really smart. And but we've never really had a connection, because now we do, but back then we didn't. Like, I thought always, he's my mom's boyfriend. He's not my dad. It's got nothing to do with me. Like, I don't care. Like, to a point where I would enter a room where he was, and we wouldn't even say hi to each other. Like, we're just, you're there, I'm here, like, just not talk, yeah? So obviously, I was doing a lot of drugs. I was really bad. I was just, alcohol was just my day in, day out. And then when COVID happened, well, before COVID happened, my acting teacher, she came to me one time and she goes, Rosa, like, you're a really good actress. Like, you're really good. But like, the moment that you know who you really are, that moment you're going to be amazing. And I thought, who the fuck am I? Like, who am I? What? That kind of made me think a lot about who I was. And that same thought sent me into a fucking spiral, because I was so ashamed of who I was. I didn't know who I was. I was just so oblivious about everything. I was like, what the fuck is going on with my life? What am I doing? Like, I'm not even proud of who I am. Like, what's going on? So we get locked up. My mom had to sell her house before COVID. We didn't know COVID was going to happen. So we rented out this very small apartment. It was that small that, my room was here and her room was there. So like, it was just, if I wanted to go to the bathroom, because I didn't have a bathroom in my bedroom, I had to cross paths with my mom or with my stepdad. My depression got so bad that even one time I remember I was in bed and I couldn't get up of bed. Like, I couldn't get up. Like, I was so down. I've never been by myself. And in that moment, after everything that I had gone through, like, I was pulled by myself because my mom was always working and she was my stepdad, and I was just there, like I was just, you know, like somebody in the house. And they had to pick me up. I remember him one time trying to even make me dance because my body, I just couldn't get up. Like, I had no strength in my body whatsoever. Like, I was just in a down spiral because obviously they had put me into this depression medication and all this bullshit. So before we got locked up, a situation happened with my family. Obviously I've never seen them because I was always traveling. I was never there, but every time that I was there, you know, it was kind of teach-touchy because I've never gotten along a lot with them because I'm so fucking different than them, right? They've always been a certain type of way, and like the looks and the family thing and whatever, and I'm like, rah. So they've never been really supportive of me, let's say it that way. So I remember there was this wedding going on. So they had like the bachelorette party for my cousin's wedding, and I had just started taking this medication, and they were going to go like in a chiva. A chiva is like a big bus. They do like a party bus kind of thing, and they gave me this massive jug of aguardiente, that's the anise drink, right? And I start drinking and drinking and drinking. I just lost control that day. I lost control. I lost my barrels. The wife of the man that you know, this whole story about the abuse, which I say like that because this has been a really hard thing for me. Like, even with the dog thing, like, I don't care. I can just talk about it and I can, you know, pinpoint because I remember it, because this and that and that. But with this one, this is what I remember. And they've said it so many times that it didn't happen, that I'm crazy, that I'm all this stuff, that what am I lying, that why am I all doing all this stuff, that for me is really hard to talk about because, first of all, I don't want to get my mom into any trouble with them, and I don't want to put blame into anyone. And I think that I'm going and I'm sweating like I am right now talking about it because I really don't want to hurt anyone in the process. And even though you would say, well, what the fuck, like, you're abused, like, why don't you just talk about it? Because it's not fucking easy. It is not easy. It's not fucking easy to talk about this shit and put blame into other people and kind of do it. So I'm just going to say, this is what I remember. I don't know if it happened, if it didn't happen, if it was a dream, if it was not. I have no idea. But this is what I remember that happened. And I have certain things that's why I kind of know that it could have happened, because there's certain sensations and certain things pinpointed that I do remember about it. So anyways, that day I lost consciousness. Then once that I was in Barcelona, that I tell you that I was so over men and all this stuff, I kind of started testing out with girls. And you know, I don't really like girls. Like, I wish I did in a way, because it would be my life so much fucking easier of trying to build again that relationship with men, because they've been so harmful to me my whole life that you know, I was just trying. So anyways, that day we were in the chiva thing, and I was drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking, and I started giving even kisses to my cousin's girlfriends in front of a lot of people that didn't even know who I was, with my family, like old people. I just think I was just trying to be a bitch. I was trying to move emotions in them for some fucking reason. But anyways, the wife of this guy was there, and I lost it. Like, I lost it. I jumped on top of her. I wanted to kill her. Like, they had to stop in this petrol station. I don't even remember this stuff because they had to tell me the next day. So I went to jump on top of her, and I was like, you fucking knew what happened, like, and you didn't do anything. And I tried to hit her. And I was like, when I get angry, and mostly when I used to get angry, and I used to get angry in those moments that I would lose my head, I was fucking scary as shit. Like, I would kill anyone that would get in front of me. Like, I didn't care. So in that moment, I jumped on top of her, and I wanted to fucking kill her. I wanted to slap her, and I wanted to do harm to her. And I remember they called my mom, because my mom wasn't there, and they called my stepdad, and everyone was stopped in this petrol station, and it was like a massive show, and nobody could calm me down. I was really like grabbing in between people and stuff. And a friend that I had met, like, you know, from when I was in school, he stopped randomly. He just stopped there. He saw me. He was like, what the fuck is going on? So my mom asked him, can you please take her away from here? Can you just take her away because she's fucking going crazy? So he took me away. And I remember I woke up the next morning and, you know, we were like in a hotel and I was like, what the fuck happened? Like, what the fuck? It's like, you don't remember? And I was like, no. It's like, you fucking went off at your auntie. You went all this stuff. Your family told me to please take you away because you were just going to kill her. Like, you wanted to kill her. Like, you were just in beast mode. So, you know, everyone, like my cousin, like he's the daughter of them. I was really close to her all my life. Like, you know, she's younger than me, but I loved her like a lot. And she called me, she was crying, and she was like, is this true? And I was like, I didn't even know what to say. So I hanged up the phone on her, and I remember I got home and my mom didn't even want to speak to me. And, you know, they were being embarrassed, I think is the word, about me as a daughter. When I realized that she had gone to them and told them that I was taking this new medication and that, you know, that I was just, didn't know what I was saying. And she kind of, like, I shouldn't have brought it up like that. I'm aware now that that was such a big fucking mistake of me blurring it out when I was drunk and when I was doing all the actions that I was doing before about kissing and doing all this bullshit and dancing and whatever thing, and then bringing that up. It took the whole fucking truth out of it. But for me, my mom saying that it wasn't true, that I was in medication, that broke me. I think that is one of the most painful things that I've ever gone through, was opening myself up to something that had hurt me and them taking the whole truth out of it and make me seem like the crazy person. Obviously, I got banned from the family, from the group. I've never been invited again. It took me a long time to even start talking again to a few family members. But that moment, I felt that the only person that I had loved, that the only person that I thought was going to have my back, was my mom. Like, I was alive because of her. I never wanted to kill myself because I always felt that I didn't want to do that to her. I didn't want her to find me, or I didn't want her to keep looking for me if anything happened to me. So for her to do that, I started getting so angry with her. Like, in that moment, I felt I had no one. Like, I felt so alone, so misunderstood. I felt that was my bottom for me. That in that moment, I started doing drugs and alcohol and everything on a really scary base, like levels. Like, I will wake up 10 a.m. in the morning, because I wasn't a morning person. And before, I would wake up at 10 o'clock in the morning. The first thing I would do was a line of Coke. Then I would have about minimum 6 beers in the day. I would smoke about a packet of cigarettes a day. I would smoke about 5 joints to bring down the cocaine. And then at night, I would take my medication for anxiety and depression, which will make me go to sleep. Again, I don't know how I'm alive, because that mixture is just, it's a bomb. And I was doing shit in really heavy doses every day. It wasn't like every weekend. It wasn't like once a month. Every day. It was my day to day. Obviously, that made me not be me. Made me really angry. I was sad. I was angry. I was just fucking over everything. And I remember one day I was just sitting there and you know, I was just in my balcony, and I was so sad that day, and I was, you know, kind of thinking about my whole life and not understanding shit, and my stepdad came over and he started talking to me. We never really had conversations like that, but he kind of came to me and I started talking about that I was angry because people were liars and people wouldn't own up to the truth. And, I was kind of putting that burning to my mom and what they had done. And I'm like, fucking people liars and they can't own up to their shit and like all this bullshit. And you guys are like in this fantasy world and you can't face the truth and what the fuck and blah, 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 blah. And these words changed me so much. He looked at me and he goes, "You're such a hypocrite." What do you mean a hypocrite? Like, I'm not a fucking hypocrite. I own up to my shit. I'm like, I throw a rock and I keep looking. I'm like, I threw the rock. What the fuck are you going to do about it? And he goes, "You are the biggest liar I have ever met in my life." I remember I looked at him and I went, "What? Me a liar? I own up to my truth. I say things how they are. I don't lie. I fucking do this." And I'm like, blah, blah, blah. I kind of got in defense mode. And he looked at me and he goes, "You're not aware of it. But you lie to yourself and then you make everyone else around you believe that lie." He got me thinking. And I thought, fuck, he's right. I do that. And that's why I was so good in acting, because I just got into that persona and I would believe what I was saying and I would make you believe what I was saying. Because I didn't even know who I was. I didn't even know what I was going through. I didn't understand shit. But I made you understand it. And I make you see me as something that I wasn't at all. I was the biggest liar. And I was such a good liar that I didn't even know I was lying. I didn't know I was lying to myself until that moment where I went, holy fucking shit, I do. In that moment, like this. So nobody would handle me. Nobody would talk to me. My friends, they all fucked off. I was too much. Like, I would call you because I had so much snow in my system. I would vent. Blah, 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 blah. And I would talk to me. And nobody, everyone was just like, "Rosa, you're just too much." So I started walking around my street by myself. I would do about 10 kilometers a day walking with I would put my sport clothes on. So I would be like, I'm going to do exercise. So if you saw me, you're like, okay, she's doing exercise. But in the jug, like your thermos, whatever, I would put beer in there or wine. I would take my little bag of Coke always kind of in my bra or in my pants and like do Coke in every fucking corner. My cigarettes as well. I went for the whole pack. So I would go 10 kilometers walking, doing all this stuff. But I was in the street. I was literally in the street walking and consuming. Like, I think if I would have kept in that road, I would be a homeless person, living in drugs and living in alcohol. So I met this, I was in this party, in this after party in a friend's house, and this girl appeared, and I thought she was super pretty, and like we were talking and whatever, and we grabbed each other's number, and I don't know where she disappeared, and she looks at me and she goes, she sent me a message and she goes, "When I met you, I had to go and tell my dad." And I thought that was weird. I was like, okay, you're going to tell your dad you met me? Like, okay. So she rings me up and she goes, "Why don't you come to my house? You can meet my dad." And I don't know what the fuck. And I went, okay, well, I didn't really think much of it. And I went to meet them. That day, I was in pure consumption, like pure drug addict mode in that moment. So I went to the house and, I arrived and he sat me down and he was like really old. He was like 60 something, 60, 70 years old. And he sits me down and he starts talking to me about past lives. I was very aseptic before, like I didn't really believe in anything, superstitious and all this bullshit. Even people were telling me, and this was, okay, I'm gonna have to make a bracket. So from all the psychologists, the people that they were taking me, all these healers, all this kind of crap, they started telling me that that my ex-husband was doing witchcraft on me. That, that he was doing I don't know how you say santera, like a witchcraft people that do weird shit. And that, he was doing like every Thursday, they used to say, every Thursday, they used to say that he was doing, reinforcing that witchcraft that he had put on me. So I would go back to him. Again, I'm going to tell it as it is right now, and what they told me later on. I explain now what I understood from that moment, but that's what they were telling me. And that broke me down, because I was like, what the fuck? Like, I give all this shit to this man, and I do all this stuff. And even when I left Spain, I called him and I said, look, I'm going to leave Spain. I'm going back to Colombia. Like, thank you very much for everything. Like, thank you for bringing me here, because Spain has been a beautiful experience. Fucking idiot. But anyways, I did that. So when they started telling me that he had done this to me, it was like, okay, what the fuck? Like, seriously, like, I'm going through a moment where I had no money. My health was shit. I was losing all my friends. I was consumed in drugs and alcohol. My whole family stopped talking to me. I was so fucked up. Like, so fucked up. So I met this guy, and he was telling me about past lives, and you know, I think he was a wizard. Like, he knew shit. He knew shit. So he started telling me, for example, like, oh, we've met each other in other lives, and we did all this, so go and have a look at this time. And then, you know, and I would see shit, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, this man is just crazy. So that day, you know, I don't even remember what happened that day. So he said to me, you know, like, I'm going to help you get out of your drug abuse. So yeah, I started believing him, because even his daughter would call him and say, hey, I missed this thing, and he would tell her where it was. Like, he wasn't even there, and he was like, go and look in something that's green, and then we will find the keys. Or he would tell me, for example, like, we were talking about my abuse and all this stuff, and it was like, you know, there's certain things and abuses that you don't remember. And he said to me one time, have a look at your asshole. Sorry, but it is what it is. Have a look at your asshole. You have got a scar. And I went, wait, what? Like, I've never looked at my asshole. Like, what do you mean I've got a scar? Like, how the fuck would you know that? And I looked in the mirror, and literally I had a big scar, and I was like, and in that moment, a memory came back of an abuse that I endured when I came back to Australia when I was 20, before I met my ex-husband, which I went to the place that I lived before, and I was so used to forgetting what had happened the night before and losing my memory and stuff, that for me in that moment didn't seem as something that was crazy. But I remember waking up and going, what happened? Like, it's like, I arrived Thursday and it was Saturday, and I was like, what the fuck happened in the past few days? Oh no, we got drugged and we like partied and stuff. And I was like, okay, well, you know, I didn't think much of it until that day when he told me that, you know, I had been abused by a group of people. They had drugged me, and they had been putting stuff in my ass and you know, raping me. And it was really confronting for me, because what do you mean I was raped by a group of people and I don't even remember that? Like, what the fuck? What do you mean? But I had a massive scar in my ass. So I started believing a lot of shit that he would say, you know, and in that moment, I was looking for a savior. I never believed that I could save myself. It's like, I needed someone. Please, someone rescue me. Like, someone save me. Someone give me something for me to kind of already wake the fuck up from this nightmare. Because I didn't want to be there anymore. Like, I remember he would put, like, I told my mom, and I said, Mom, I really need help. Like, I'm really bad. It had been already like a year of me doing it every day. And it was getting out of control, because I needed more. So it wouldn't be 1 gram of Coke, it will be 2 grams. And it would be 6 beers, it would be 10. And then, you know, like, and again, money, I didn't have money for other things, but for drugs and alcohol, there was always there. And my mom always bought me beer, because she felt that when I didn't have it, I was so aggressive. So she kind of kept me always having beer in the house. So, you know, she was trying to cope as well, and try to deal with me, that I was just a mess. And I remember I sat down with her, and I you know, I looked at her and I said, Mom, I need help. Like, I'm fucked up. Like, it's gotten out of hand, and I don't know how to get out of this. Like, I really need to go to rehab. She just looked at me with a very serious face. She didn't even cry. Nothing. It was like, I told her, hi, how are you? She looked at me and she goes, you got yourself in this, you get yourself out. I have no money to pay you to go to rehab or nothing. Like, I don't know what you're going to do. In that moment, this old man, I remember I said to him, I was like, I don't know what the fuck to do. Like, this has gotten out of control. I really don't know how to stop doing drugs, because the first thing I would do was doing drugs, and the last thing I would do before I go to bed was doing drugs. So I just didn't know what the normal thing was anymore. And I allowed him to start doing weird shit. Like, he would put this white tunic dress on, and he would do like Reiki, or I don't know what the fuck he was doing, but it got to a point where it was never sexual, it was never nothing like that, like, don't get me fucking wrong at all. It was just supposedly healing witchy shit. I started believing in all that crap after that, because shit happened. So I remember I told him, like, he's like, I'm gonna help you to get over it. So he would put this thing on, and he would do this Reiki thing. So I remember one night specifically, it was fucking trippy as shit for me, because he kind of pulls me out before I kind of put the dress on and stuff, and he goes, look at that star, and he points out at a specific star in the sky. And he goes, I want you to remember where that star is, because after this is done, I want you to look at it again. Okay. So, he does the whole ritual thing, I fall asleep, and then I wake up and I see him passed out in the sofa, like, and I kind of come to him and I'm like, are you okay? Like, what the fuck is going on? And he grabs it and he goes, no, it was really intense what we did. And I went, okay. So he pulls me again into the balcony and he goes, look at the star now. The star was a little point before we did it. It was like a little tiny point, like a normal star. And then in that moment, after it happened, I looked at the star and the star was like that big. I've never seen a star that big ever in my life, apart from that fucking day. Obviously, it blew my mind. I was like, holy fucking shit. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, what is all this stuff? Like, because I was not super, like, I didn't believe in all that crap. Life was so fucking hard that I couldn't believe past what I was living. I couldn't believe in anything. Like, I believed there was a God, but I didn't believe in religion. I didn't believe in anything like that. And I didn't have no idea about energies and all this bullshit and like all beautiful stuff. Bullshit. But that day blew my mind, right? For things here and there, I met these girls that were younger than me, because obviously the people that were my age, I don't know, they weren't handling. So I was always kind of getting new people to be able to be surrounded by someone, So I was in this park and I met these guys, and like we went to a party, so I met these other two girls, and they were kind of referring themselves as witches as well. And I started reading this book that this guy had gave me about past lives, and I was starting to open up my brain in a lot of ways of understanding certain things that before I had no idea. So, they recommend me to go to this place in Tuluá, which is a town close to Colombia, like an hour or something away from Cali. And that they will go up to the mountain and they will do like, kind of rituals, and like they will do all this stuff. But like they were like women healers, and they will help you trying to go through your traumas and all this stuff. And obviously I was looking how to heal myself, how to get out of the drug abuse, how to get out of all this stuff. And I think that me believing that stuff could work was what helped me get out of it. I remember I said, so I went to this mountain thing, and the guy, this old man, wanted to take me, and then they said something weird, and I started feeling like, something wasn't right. So I really started kind of blocking him, because I felt that he was doing weird stuff to my energy, like really, like he was doing witchy shit, like really heavy. And so I'm up in the mountain, and holy shit, I got freaking hot as crap. And I started understanding all this stuff. I remember the first exercise they gave us was like a little round thing where we had to put all the stuff that we had lived and what we remembered from every era of our lives. That was the first moment where I broke down. Like I broke down. Like I wasn't aware of all the trauma that I had lived. It was like if I switched a little switch and I thought, I'm never going to think about this bullshit. Like I didn't live through that. I'm just Rosa and I'm just here and I'm just there. But I never wanted to look at my life at all. And that day I opened the switch and it came pouring down to me. It was really fucking bad. So, I said, I'm going to stop doing coke. the 31st of August 2020. No more, like that's my day. I remember that last 15 days, because everyone would tell me you're crazy, like you're not going to stop consuming if you're going to do that. Because obviously I was surrounded by people that did drugs, because yeah, that's where I was accepted. So I was just crazy party mode. And I remember I would do coke, even if I was crying, I was bleeding, and I would just go, come on, you want to do it? Fucking do it. It was so bad. And I got to such a point that I was disgusted by it, because I didn't want to do it anymore. And I could not do it. It was just my only way of feeling alive. It was my only way of getting my dopamine up. It was the only way of me feeling like a normal person, was doing drugs. I couldn't. And I was so fucking angry and so ashamed that I had become my ex-husband, in a way. I was like, I left him because of this, and now I'm doing this. What the fuck did I do? What the fuck did I do? Like, seriously, like I couldn't, I was so angry. I hated myself. I hated myself for doing that. I was like, I do not understand what the fuck is going on. So I didn't last until the 31st of August. The 30th, I was like, you know what? Like, this is it. Like, I'm over it. I'm not going to do it again. And I did it. I don't know how. I don't know if it was the witchy shit. I don't know if it was me believing that the witchy shit was working, which I think it is now. But, I got myself out. I didn't go to rehab. I didn't go to a psychologist, because I remember even I called my psychiatrist and I told him, because, he would give me medication, but he wouldn't even see me. Like, I would send him an email and say, I need a refill. And he would just go pick it up in the fucking counter. Like, he wouldn't even fucking see me. It was crazy. And, I sent him an email and I said, I have to be honest, like, I've been doing coke for over a year and something, like almost 2 years now. But like this last year has been every day, like in really high doses. And I'm going to start taking it off. Like, and he was like, don't you dare do it, like, straight away, because you could die. Like, you can't do that. Like, you have to gradually leave it. And I was like, fuck that shit. Like, once I put something, and that has been always something that I've done. Like, once I put my head to something, I say, I'm going to do this, there's nothing that gets in my way. I'll fucking get it done. And it wasn't the exception with the drugs. I was like, I am not doing cocaine anymore. And that day, I stopped doing it every day. Sometimes I did it here and there, but it wasn't the same thing. I always had control. I never had it on me. Like, and I think clean, I've been 2 years, even a little bit more now. But anyways, that will be for next episode. Because I went again into a little bit of a consuming time, but then I got myself out, luckily. So, I started going to the mountain and stuff like that. Like, I kind of started not wanting to see the old guy, because I could see he was doing weird shit. His daughter was fucking weird as crap, which she actually ended up killing herself. Like, it was really bad. So, I didn't want to have anything now to do with them. I was like trying to protect myself, trying to protect my energy, because obviously in the mountain we were talking so much about energies, and I was seeing so much crap happening there and feeling so many new things that I kind of left him, and I went to this, I kind of put all my energy into the mountain thing. So I started doing like healing woman thingy. So I would go once a month to the mountain and, take medicines, different type of ancestral medicines. So like, rapé, ambil, chananga, fucking all this crap. So one time this lady goes to me like, why don't you just come by yourself, come when there's no ceremony or there's nothing like that, just come by yourself. And you can spend the weekend here and we can do like a therapy kind of session. And I went, okay, great, because everything that she had been telling me, obviously it worked in certain ways, because I was understanding my life, I was understanding my brain, I was understanding this whole energy stuff. So I go up to the mountain, and I remember I arrived and I was like, okay, I'm here, let's do therapy. And she was like, well, your therapy is not doing anything. And I went, what do you mean? She goes, yes, we're going to be working daddy issues. Just think about your life, think about your relationship with him and all this stuff. And I went, cookie. cookity, because I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting therapy. I was expecting them to tell me things. I was expecting all this stuff, like give me, you know, heal me, please save me. And this is up in the mountain in Tuluá, up in the mountain. And there was this town about an hour and a half away. So it was really up in the mountain, but if you went walking, it was like an hour and a half to this town, and it was like a guerrilla town, like it was a really dangerous place. And obviously they left me alone, and they were like, okay, so just, you know, do your therapy. And I was, oh my God. I walked all the way to that town to get drunk. I couldn't handle it. I went, and I remember I sat down in this bar thing. They had like pool tables, and I was just there by myself drinking like a crazy person, to a point where I was already drunk that I couldn't even speak. I grabbed a bag full of beers and I started walking back almost at nighttime. When I arrived, she went fucking mad at me. She was like, that's a guerrilla town. You're putting yourself in danger. You're fucking drunk as shit. You're not supposed to come here and do this stuff. And she recommended me to, well, recommended me, no. She kind of told me, you are not allowed to come back here if you don't do cambo. In cambo, which, okay, I'll explain a little bit what it is. Once you do 3 rounds of cambo, you can come back here. But if not, you're not allowed to come here. And obviously for me, it was like, I'm finally seeing little bits of glimpse of, you know, healing process. I really don't want them to kick me out. And obviously me getting kicked out, the whole rejection thing would just activate so much crap on me that, you know, I wanted to get that combo thingy done. So, you know, I speak to this girl that she does the combo, and she was explaining to me, and I was freaking out because she goes, okay, so it's a venom from a frog from the Amazon. And I was like, I have an autoimmune disease that I can't even take pain medication. I can't take any bullshit, and you want to put venom in me? Like, I'm going to die. Like, that I'm going to die. But again, because I didn't care about dying, I was like, you know what? Just fucking let's get it done. Let's get it done. So what that does is like the most potent, it's like the strongest antibiotic ever. It heals your body, emotions, and spiritual. It's got its thing, yeah? I'll explain it to you in another episode what it is in deep, but it's practically these little points that I have in my arm. And in my leg as well, but I've done it a lot of times. So I remember I went to her house. She was like, okay, we're gonna do it just you and me, because obviously I had so much shit that I couldn't be put with other people, and at the same time she kind of does it individually, but she was like, okay, so let's get you here. Let's try to deal with all your bullshit and all this fucking crazy shit, yeah? So it's really dense. It's a fucking process. You need to drink a lot of water before it. So I had to wake up like at 4 o'clock in the morning, drink like 3 liters of water before I got there. And that first session, it lasted like 3 hours because I was inducing vomit. I was like, because the venom, it doesn't make you hallucinate. It just makes you hold on for your freaking life. Like, it made me swelled up. I was sweating through my freaking eyelashes. Like, it was just crazy, the process. But that day took me so much time because, you know, they don't get involved in your process. They kind of look at you and go, okay, so everything that's happening is showing you what you need to work on. And obviously I was making myself sick because that's what I used to do. I used to make my life harder. I was my worst fucking enemy. I hated myself, so I will make myself go through shit because I felt I deserved to go through shit. I hated myself. So, you know, she did that to me, and then the old guy, when I was in the bus coming back to Cali, he called me out of the blue, and he was like, what are you doing? And I went, I'm going home. What do you mean? It's like, but what did you do? And I went, what do you mean? What did I do? What have you done to your life that is like good? Like anything that's happened? And I went, no. I was already kind of sus of him. Like, you know, like what the fuck are you kind of talking about? And she had told me that this whole combo thing helped you as well if you had any witchcraft on, or if anyone was playing around with their energy, like it would block them. Like that's it. Like you kind of, you know, now I don't believe in all that stuff. Like I do, but I don't, because I know there's a lot of evil in the world. But in that moment, I had all my faith in that type of stuff. Like I didn't know what was going on. So obviously because of everything that had happened in those months, I really believed in all this shit. I really believed in bad energies. I really believed in witchcraft. I really believed in all this shit. So I was like, didn't want to tell him. And he was like, my daughter just had a car accident. And I went, okay, well, I didn't want to tell him. So I called this girl and she was like, get back, get on the bus, come back here because we're going to do the other 2 sessions now. After those sessions, never spoke to that guy again. I would find him in the street because he would look for me and try to grab me and try to don't. That made me realize what he was doing and how he was playing with my energy and how he was doing shit. Like, it was really fucking crazy. Again, now I don't believe in it. Like, I think that you give it the strength for that shit to happen, because if you really stand up and you go, I don't believe in that crap and I'm not allowing you to do it, it doesn't happen. But I did allow him to do it. So, it was really terrible for me to even find him in the street because I was like, what the fuck is he finding me? Like, I'm walking in the street and out of nowhere he would appear and I'm like, oh my God, like, please leave me the fuck alone. So in that process, I'm already not consuming. I stopped doing drugs. I was smoking weed. I was still drinking, still smoking cigarettes, but I had left coke, which for me was the biggest fucking thing because I was so consumed in cocaine that I was just not me at all. I was somebody else. Something had taken over my life and I was just unbearable. I don't even know the people that were around me, how the fuck they handled me. And that's how my whole healing journey started. Obviously, my healing journey started with me thinking and hoping that somebody else would help me and fix me. I'm going to tell you in the next episode how I went from first the old guy, then up to the mountain, then up to another girl that as well kind of fucking did all this crap. And then finding out that it was me. Nobody was going to rescue me. It was me. I had the tools. I knew my life. I needed to confront it, and I needed to do this whole journey that I've been doing for the past few years to be able to be where I am right now. And now that I kind of look back at all that story, all this crap, I am so proud of the decisions that I took. Even going in deep into cocaine, even going in deep into this whole mountain stuff, even going in deep into the whole energy, everything brought me to this place that I am right now. This awareness, I need physical stuff. I need proof to be able to believe in stuff. I've never was someone to believe in things that weren't there, like at all. I just believed what I lived, what I went through, everything. And we're going to get into that into the next episode of how everything just started evolving into the beautiful thing that it did transform at the end. This was really dark times for me. It was shit. I was so alone. I was so fucked up. I hated myself. Every day that I took those medications to go to sleep after having my heart going like this crazy because of 1 gram, 2 grams of coke a day, and then having those medications to go to sleep. Now I'm aware that could have killed me, and I did it for a whole fucking year. Every day, every day, every day. And every time it kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse until this whole process of looking inward, of analyzing my life, of not trying to hide anymore. As I said, opening that fucking Pandora box. Because as you've been listening to me, this is not fucking easy to do when you've been through so much, to look at your traumas, to look at what hurt you, and to look at it right on the face and go, come on, let's get this stuff sorted. I want a new life. Nobody's going to save me. I'm going to save myself. And for that, it means I have to do the work myself. I don't know how, but I'm going to get it done. And now I know that I know best. I know what's the best process for me, and I don't judge it. And I'm so fucking proud of myself because I feel so content. I feel so proud. I feel so happy. I feel that all this bullshit that I've been telling you and all this crap that I've gone through, I'm a very strong person. I have a big pair of ovaries to face all this stuff because I don't know I know that my purpose is big because I don't know how I'm alive. I really, really, really don't understand it. I was so close to death so many times, in so many different aspects, in so many different situations, that I know that I'm here because of a reason. And it's bigger than me. And that's why I'm telling you all this stuff. I hope that it makes sense. I hope that the message was clear. I hope that if you're going through any type of addiction and you don't know how to quit, and you don't know how to get out of it, and you think that you can't, if I did and I could, you can. I swear to you, find out why you're doing it, why you're destroying yourself, why are you taking the choices that you are. Sometimes we think it's going to be harder to look inward and to face those things and to, just keep living, and it doesn't. It doesn't, because it always comes back and bites you in the bloody ass. With your relationships, with your financials, with everything. That moment I went to get help, not because I wanted to heal me. It was because I was so over not having money, and I didn't understand why I couldn't be financially free. I didn't understand why money was blocked. I didn't understand. And when they kept telling me that they had done all this witchy shit to me, I was like, I need to get it off because I want to have money. Because I thought, if I have money, finally I'm going to be happy. If I have money, finally everything is going to be okay. I was so wrong in that sense. But that got me to there. That got me into looking inward. It got me into my healing process. It got me to understand that this, what I'm seeing, is bigger than what I think. There's a lot of magic. And, we have God in us. I'm not a religious person at all. If I have to pick a religion, I love Judaism because of the Kabbalah and because of the explanation and certain things that they do in like rituals and stuff like that. I feel they're beautiful. But I'm a very spiritual aware person. And when I started realizing that if I let him inside of me take control, not my ego, not my body self, not my earthy shit, everything just started being really beautiful. Really freaking beautiful. I sometimes don't know what I'm doing. I'm going with the flow. I'm letting him ride this beautiful boat. And I've been very surprised. And I'm just so grateful that I allowed myself to go in deep and to look myself in the mirror and to not judge other people that have been going through it, and to understand all the people that abused me and did harm to me and not see them as bad or not see them as anything. See them as experience. Again, I love my mom to death, and I know that she's done the best she could with what she was given. And at the same time, I wasn't an easy person at all, because I never spoke about what was wrong because I didn't even know. How can you tell someone that you need help if you don't even know you need help? How do you really tell someone what your issues are if you don't really even know what your issues are? So the people that are around you, they suffer as much because they don't know what the fuck to do. So I understand that now. And I have a beautiful relationship with her and with my stepdad. They're like my best friends. But in that moment that I was in that massive hole, I saw them as my enemies because they didn't understand me. So anyways, we're done with this episode. Next episode, we're going to be touching a little bit going up. It's still a lot of bullshit. You would think that after the relationship that I had, I would have learned my lesson, but I didn't. I got into another really toxic relationship that showed me everything I needed to heal. He was a big mirror. Everything that he was, I was. He just showed me everything I needed to heal, everything I was doing wrong. But it got really bad too. And I'm very grateful for that. I'm really appreciative of him showing me what I needed to change, because it was a fucking slap in the face. And it got really bad. Really bad. But anyways, after that, it's just been a fucking beautiful process. This last year, it's like you know, when you put a little seed and you want to put a tree or anything like that. It was like these last few years in this episode, like this one and the one that's coming, was me putting water into the fucking seed and not seeing anything, seeing just dark and going, what the fuck, like I'm doing the work and I'm doing all this bullshit, what's going on? And now I feel that this year I've finally seen the little green kind of thing going, here I am, like this is the gift of making all the decisions that I made, and giving that love and nurture, putting the water and making sure and putting, you know, things for it to grow. And I see the green part finally. I always used to say, like, it's a dark tunnel, I don't see anything, I see just dark, and I want to see the light, and I finally see the light. And that's why I'm sharing it with you. I'm not fully healed, I'm still going through it. Every episode that I say, I have really dense dreams, and it's a fucking hard thing to me sit here and explain to you a lot of my life when sometimes so much shit happened that I don't even know how to say it. So again, I hope that this brings awareness. It brings you compassion for people that you see that are kind of going in a hard time. It gives you compassion towards yourself as well. If you're going through this fucking shit, know that you can do it. Don't wait for anyone to save you. You're the only one who can save yourself. And having faith is not like, I wish, and oh, please God, give it to me. It's like, no, like really, certainty that everything is for your best development. Everything works in your favor, and that everything that you have in your brain is creating your reality. Be aware of your reality and build that instruction manual of your brain, how you work, what you like, what you don't, what everything. Understand yourself, look at your body, and be aware. That's the best gift I can give to you guys, is know yourself, know what you're creating. Don't play victim, own up to your shit. And if it's hard, keep going. It's like when you have a massive storm and the storm is there, you're like, fuck, I don't want to cross it, there's a fucking massive storm. Cross that bitch, cross it. Because once you go past it, you can look back and go, bye-bye storm, I passed it. So thank you for listening to this whole hour of me rambling about crazy times. And oops, I'm sorry, I got excited. I hope it helps you. I hope you liked it. Keep tuned. I'm going to be talking, I think, a few more episodes. Well, last one is just going to be, you know, last darkness part, and then I'm going to be talking about the process and how I changed, how little tiny steps make the fucking difference. So thank you. Have a beautiful week. And yeah, I'll see you next one. Ciao.